Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am here with a card project today. Today's just a very generic kind of thinking of you card, but as always with any card, you can change the sentiment and make it whatever you want. So if you wanted this to be a birthday card, you could do the same sort of layout and just change the sentiments. I'm going to be using some Simon Says Stamp exclusives. I'm going to be using the Talk Bubbles die set from them, and it has these little speech bubbles. I'm going to be using the Coordinating for the Record stamp set, which goes along with those Talk Bubbles dies, and then also this handwritten sentiment stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. So those are the stamp sets I'm going to be using, and these are the papers I'm going to be using, and you can see I've already started kind of cutting some of these and that sort of thing. These papers are from the Dear Lizzy 5th and Frolic collection. And I'm going to be kind of creating a little, as you can see, like a folder card. So I have pre-cut this using my silhouette out of this paper here. And I've just cut it to where my card base will be the 3 3/4 by 5.5 size that I used, I believe, last week. But anyway, I went ahead and test cut it on a piece of white paper, and I'm going to be using this as the base because I'm going to be doing some sewing on this and that sort of thing. So what I'll do is I'll attach everything to this white base and then attach it to my card base, which is out of the Neenah Solar White cardstock. And I just wanted to mention that anytime you want information or links to the products that I use in any of my videos, you can find them over on my blog at Sprinkled with Glitter. So go ahead and head over there. These are the other papers I'm going to be using from the Dear Lizzy 5th and Frolic collection. I'm going to be using this gray dot, and then I'm going to be cutting the speech bubble out of this lined little card here. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to get started by grabbing my paper trimmer. And I know that I want to cut about, I'm going to go a little shy on this. I'm thinking about 1 inch, but what I'm going to do for now is do about 3/4 of an inch. Cut that off and see how that looks. So I'm going to set that aside because I'm trying to figure out how much of this gray that I want, and I can always cut a little more off, but I can't cut less off. So what I'll do is kind of hold this up and see. Yeah, that's about right, that 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to cut a little bit larger than that of this gray dot paper, and then I'm going to take them over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch them together. So I'll just go about 7/8 of an inch for this so that I don't have any white gapping in between. And I will adhere them first onto this piece of white paper, and then I'll go over to my sewing machine and zigzag stitch this. Okay, so I've added some gray stitching along there, and you can see it's not perfect, but that doesn't bother me at all. And then I am just going to add just a tiny bit of adhesive to the back, and I'm just going to flip those threads over and adhere them to the back and trim them off. There's probably a better way of doing this. I am by no means a sewer or a seamstress, but this seems to work for me, so that's just what I do. If you have a better idea, you're welcome to comment and let me know what that would be. So I'm just going to kind of slide those up so they're out of my way, and then I can start working on the rest of this. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut my speech bubble. I'm going to be using this cloud-shaped one here, and I will cut it out of this square of lined paper here, and it looks like I can get it right on there. Can break these apart, so I can just use this one, and I'll take it over to my die cut machine and cut that out. Okay, so I have that cut out here, and in the process of cutting that, I've lost one of the little polka dots, but I'm not sure that I'm going to use that anyway, so I can go ahead and start my stamping. This is going to kind of go on there like this, and I think I'm going to use this Thinking of You sentiment from the For the Record stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. And I'll just put it on there just like that. And to tie in the gray, I'm going to bring in my Hero Arts Charcoal Shadow Ink. It's a mid-tone shadow ink. And because I have not used this stamp before, I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper. I like to, if it's my first time using a stamp, I like to kind of just get a feel for it by stamping it on a piece of scratch paper. And that's stamped beautifully. So I'll just ink it up again. I'll put it right on my little thought bubble. And that's stamped wonderfully. And then while I have my ink and my stamp block out, I think I'll go ahead and stamp a sentiment onto this portion here. And I think I'm going to have it say hello. So I'll ink that up as well. And once again, another stamp I haven't used yet. So to kind of get a feel for it, I will stamp it on a scratch piece of paper. It's stamping beautifully. And I'm going to stamp it off to what would be the right side of this or the bottom edge of this little tab, because I think I'm going to add some embellishment to the tab. So I'll just stamp it right down there. Adorable. Okay, I'm going to go ahead so I can get a feel of how this is coming together and just put some dimensional adhesive on the back. I'm not sure that I'm going to adhere this yet, but at least I can kind of get a feel of how the card is looking. And so I'll put that there. And then my little dots, whatever those end up being, I may have to recut another little dot. I'm going to bring in these enamel dots from My Mind's Eye. These are the Lost and Found Ruby dots. And I think I am going to use this really pale pink here and put a few of those on the tab. Going to go ahead and adhere this down. At a slight angle. And then I am going to go over there and see if I can cut another one of these little dots. I happen to have found that little tiny dot, and I'm going to attempt to adhere these with some of this clear foam so that they will stick up and have some dimension, like the speech bubble or the thought bubble itself. So this is the Cool Tack foam in clear, but I'm going to have to cut these way small in order to make this work. So I will just use my scissors and cut those into some tiny squares. Okay, so that actually wasn't too bad, and this is how my card is coming together. Now I've already sized this up to my card base, and I happen to know that my card base is just slightly large for this, so I'm going to be doing some trimming on that. But I'm kind of trying to see if maybe I want to add something else to this. So I'm going to bring in some twine here. I don't think that's what I want to add. I think I'll just add a couple of these enamel dots. Just going to adhere this now onto the card base. And I'm going to bring in my We Are Memory Keepers Corner Chomper, and I'm going to, with the 1/4 inch round, just round these two corners here. here. Oh, not going to be able to round that one. So there is my card for today. Really cute and simple using some pattern papers, maybe a little different from what you're used to seeing me doing. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.